This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Do you play FanDuel and feel like you aren't creating consistent money-making lineups? Go over to the DFS Doctors on Twitter at the DFS Doctors and DM them with promo code Detroit Sports to get a free trial for their analytically formulated 70% lifetime profit rate NFL and NBA lineups. The whole purpose of playing daily fantasy sports is to get out there and compete and give yourself a chance to win. So go over to the DFS Doctors. Let them help you. They have analysts on staff that look at the best optimal lineup that you can put out there to win money. So why not take advantage? At the DFS Doctors, promo code Detroit Sports.
CBD is a game changer sweeping the nation. This hemp extract is the natural way to elevate your mood, eliminate aches and pains, reduce anxiety, and keep you sleeping all night long. It can even cut your workout recovery time in half. Get in the game today with 20% off all orders of CBD and lavender products from Lavender Lane, a lavender farm located right here in Milan, Michigan. Just go to lavenderlanemi.com today and enter coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order. Guys, look, these amazing products are infused with calming lavender to maximize their effectiveness, meaning your CBD items only take minutes to take effect, which is way quicker than those pills you were about to swallow. On top of it, they are perfect for men and women. Lavender Lane has lab-tested CBD creams, tinctures, and roll-ons that are perfect for any situation, even if you're on the go. Put your health back in your hands by heading over to lavenderlanemi.com and entering coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order of CBD and lavender products. What do you have to lose? Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if you need lavender gifts for your loved ones or just looking for the natural way to ease your discomfort with CBD, go to lavenderlanemi.com and use coupon code Detroit to unlock these miraculous benefits of CBD and lavender. That's lavenderlanemi.com. And remember, use coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your CBD and lavender products from Michigan's own Lavender Lane. Everybody to another episode of the DocNJock Wrestling Podcast. This is episode 123. I'm your host, Adam the Jock Strozinski. On today's episode, Matt Hardy opens up about WWE and their creative and what went wrong with their broken character. Also, will the coronavirus impact Wrestlemania? We're going to discuss that. Of course, we've got to take a look at the Elimination Chamber recap. Somebody got everything right. We'll tell you who that was. Doing it with me, as always, he's the one, he's the only. He goes by Cinnamon, Sugar, and Spice, and everything nice. It's his birthday. Wednesday was your birthday, actually. Wednesday was his birthday. I have no idea how old you are now. What, 40-something maybe?
41.
41, the big 4-1. Well, happy 41st birthday to the one, the only, the Doc, John Macaroon. Happy birthday, bro.
The phenomenal DOC going strong at 41, cuz. Look, promos are supposed to deliver, and when the best get to do them, it's just something to marvel at. AJ Styles had the promo of the week. Everyone's talking about it because of the fact that he went in on The Undertaker, and he called him by his name. He called him out saying that he's a has-been and a wash-up, and everybody's sitting here talking about, whoa, AJ Styles really went hard after The Undertaker, even called him by his real name, Mark Calloway. And so when everybody heard that promo on Raw, it was the moment of the week coming off of a strong Elimination Chamber. At first, I wasn't really excited for AJ Styles Undertaker, but then when you start to think about the potential of that match and what it could turn into, AJ Styles and The Undertaker can put together a match that will be intriguing. And probably after that promo and after The Undertaker has been messing with AJ Styles, you're thinking, man, AJ Styles, if you put him in with some of these older veterans, could have some amazing dream matchups, even with the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels. But this WrestleMania match AJ Styles and The Undertaker, I'm geeked for it. With one promo, AJ Styles delivered, and everyone's talking about it.
So do you think next week we get the American Badass? Does he show up on his motorcycle, and does he show up with his bandana, and does he come as the American Badass?
No, I think you just keep rolling with the dead man, baby. You can't have different characters in this one.
All right.
I know that AJ Styles went on the backstage show and furthered the gimmick a little bit, saying that, he's had all these incarnations. I want to defeat them all. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of fascinated, too. Who should go over? If you think about it, because, the Undertaker, is he going to pass the torch to AJ Styles? He doesn't need it. Mm-hmm. He's already a legend. You can't really have AJ Styles lose. It wouldn't really hurt him. So either way, you can make an argument for or against each guy losing. But if you want to elevate AJ Styles going forward with the OC, I just don't see a scenario in which AJ Styles loses. Maybe you have some kind of hokey finish, a non-finish. But if you really want to do what's best for business, AJ Styles could get the rub off The Undertaker and have him go forward into the next 3 years of his deal and be the man.
See, I think the issue is it's WrestleMania. You know how sacred WrestleMania is to The Undertaker. He's lost twice in his entire career, once to Brock Lesnar, once to Roman Reigns. So I don't know. I don't know what you do here. I see what you're saying, and I think you could get the rub. I don't really necessarily know if AJ Styles needs the rub. I think it's going to be a fantastic match because AJ has the ability to bring the best out of everybody. On top of it, the guy is super safe in the ring. At this advanced age, Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, the American Badass, whatever you want to refer to him as, he's not as good as he once was, to steal a line from Toby Keith, right? He's just not. He can't move around the ring as well. He had a couple hip surgeries a few years ago. He's just not as good as he once was. And I think putting him with a guy like AJ Styles will do things to help accentuate what he can do well and bring the very, very best out of him. I don't know who wins this match. It's going to be interesting. I think we'll get a more astute take on what's going to happen with this match as we kind of build towards WrestleMania and as we get closer to it. But as of right now, I've got no idea. I really don't have any idea who wins this. I get what you're saying. AJ could get the rub, and then that basically seals his deal for the next 3 years with the OC, right? And they can go on to do some really great things. And that's if The Undertaker wants to pass that torch. I don't know if The Undertaker's done. Like, at some point, you would think, like, dude, you got to take some time away, right? Like, you've got to hang it up. At some point, you've got to be retired. Just give it up because you're not great anymore. You're still a draw. The guy will always be a draw. That's like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin is still a draw. You love, like, he pops the biggest numbers for Raw with their ratings when you know he's going to show up. So they're still draws. They're just not great in the ring anymore because of their age. So at some point, you got to kind of hang up the boots. So is it to AJ Styles? I don't know.
Now, both you and I definitely talked about last week that, okay, Elimination Chamber felt rushed. It felt like, wow, we're heading into another pay-per-view just after one that we just kind of wrapped up. And you're like, man, WrestleMania season's upon us quickly. It's way too fast. They got to calm things down. But cuz at the end of the day, the WWE, when these wrestlers get out there and they perform in front of these fans and those fans are hyped and they get into it, bro, the Elimination Chamber was awesome. You kicked it off beautifully with Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan having a classic wrestling match.
Did you see Daniel Bryan's wardrobe malfunction?
I did not during the match. I'm scrolling through Twitter.
Did you rewind?
I'm scrolling through Twitter on Tuesday, and all of a sudden, I'm like, TMZ puts out a report that Daniel Bryan has a wardrobe malfunction. I'm like, wait a minute, what? So I went right to it. I'm like, oh my God, not just once, twice. And it was one of those situations where his tights were not suited to his body, so when he would ever, like, it was loose. So you got two bold nut shots of Daniel Bryan.
Just
and so
his nutsack.
And I know you saw that I tweeted him and said, ballsy performance. That's the first thing I thought when I saw TMZ. I'm like, oh, he's got to know. I'm sure I'm not the only one that sent him that, but I thought it was funny. But you got to, come on, this is 2020. You can't be having your nuts be flowing freely all over the place. It was a fascinating scenario in looking at a professional wrestling match with botches and everything. So
it's weird because normally they wear their Speedo, right? And underneath their Speedo, they usually have what would essentially be like a thong singlet. And it's basically to hold the twig and berries, and it runs right up your butt crack, and then you've got your trunks on over that. So the fact that he didn't have that on was weird to me. I wonder if something happened. These guys travel all over the world, right? So I wonder if something happened during his travels and he wasn't able to get his proper trunks. I don't know.
Oh, good stuff all the way around. Andrade stole a win with a handful of tights over Carrillo. It was a good professional match. I'm just not, for me personally, you just can't be involved in every single angle. You can't care about everything. So Andrade, Carrillo, that whole crew, I'm just not into. I don't care.
I think that storyline has to end, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times is Humberto Carrillo going to get a shot at Andrade? I mean, this is like the 4th or 5th time? I just don't know where we're going with this. So I thought The Miz and Morrison getting a big pin over the Usos in the Elimination Chamber was a solid match. That was fantastic.
Awesome match all the way around. I just like the nostalgic feel of The Miz and Morrison. Their entrance is still awesome to this day. The match itself was unbelievable, highlighted by a massive spot where, one of the wrestlers is at the top and he flings back down and he falls perfectly. And it was like a nice spot fest. And man, every single time the Usos and the New Day are in the ring, it's just magic. You can put them together anytime, anywhere, and it's going to produce an unbelievable matchup. So it was a pretty good Elimination Chamber for the SmackDown titles. I was impressed.
Yeah.
It was definitely impressive, and I think that it was just well-crafted, well-produced.
It was, I thought it was a really well-put-together match. Aleister Black ends up finishing off AJ Styles with a brutal black mass to get a win. Now, that match was the tiebreaker in our predictions, and we'll tell you who won that coming up here in a few moments. But that, again, probably Aleister Black's biggest match of his career, probably his biggest win of his career. This really helps kick off the feud with AJ Styles and The Undertaker, which we just spoke about. This was good. This was solid. Again, going into this pay-per-view, I don't think either one of us expected great things from it. I think we both thought it was going to be kind of a ho-hum. We'll see what we get. And I think to this point in the card, I think we were both pleasantly surprised. I thought it was a really good match. I thought we've had 4 pretty solid matches as we work our way through the Elimination Chamber. This one right here, probably one of the best of the bunch so far. So really good match, and I think it helps kick off what is to come for WrestleMania. Street Profits ends up taking out Buddy Murphy. They retain their tag team titles. Something that we're going to discuss here when we kind of start talking about topics and trends in wrestling, and it's going to be the Street Profits. It's pretty obvious what's going on here with them. Sami Zayn ends up pinning Braun Strowman to become the new Intercontinental Champion. What'd you think of that?
I looked at it and I said, good for Sami Zayn, a professional worker, a guy that has been in the ring, for years now, battled injuries, and sometimes you just got to reward people that actually elevate other wrestlers too, because he could have complained, having to kind of downgrade and be like a manager and a valet and a mouthpiece and kind of de-emphasize his in-ring work. But you never forget, this guy's a worker, a long-term vet that's been up through the system. So to give him an IC title, hey, it's good. I think that it allows for others to pursue it, and it'll make for a great moment in WrestleMania should he have the belt by then.
Yeah, I think Sami Zayn getting it, a little bit shocking. Remember when we were talking, we thought it would be, if there was going to be anybody between Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Nakamura, it would have been Cesaro who got it. Instead, it went to Sami Zayn, which I don't necessarily think was a bad choice. I just thought it was weird because Braun Strowman had it for such a short period of time. He didn't get a lengthy run. And I thought that was weird. It was a 3-on-1 handicap match, so you're not really taking any shine off the guy because he just lost to 3 other dudes. But all that being said, I was a little bit shocked that it was Sami Zayn coming out the new champion, especially when I thought it might have been Cesaro. Shayna Baszler eliminates everybody.
It was the perfect way to do it. We all knew, we predicted it was going to be Shayna Baszler, but to do it in that manner, cuz it was perfect in that you made her look like an undefeatable beast. And the part, though, that I thought could have been better in the actual match is, Shayna Baszler is about to face Asuka, and she had eliminated the previous opponent with like maybe a minute or 2 left. So it just produces a weird moment where Shayna Baszler is just staring at Asuka, and Asuka's just doing her screaming, for over a minute, and the crowd's getting restless. And I just think that was probably the poorest moment of the entire pay-per-view, is that you have the crowd just getting bored, a minute and a half just waiting, and Shayna's just walking around the ring, taunting Asuka. Asuka's just screaming, unintelligible, stupid stuff. So at that point, you could have just opened the door and had it go through. Yeah. But both Elimination Chambers were awesome. I mean, you have great moments where, you have these high spots, you got this intrigue. Actually, I like the Elimination Chamber and the concept in and of itself. And the way they did it for Shayna Baszler was fine. It's just the execution of the last portion. Asuka definitely belongs in the main event status. It's unfortunate now she's taking a back turn, but Shayna Baszler is the beast that they are creating. And it's a good look. I think that Shayna Baszler is a believable opponent for the man, and it's going to be a good match. Probably now you pass the torch, and we're probably going to see 3-4 title changes. If you're going to go into 2020 with a new scenario, I could definitely see new Universal title holder, new WWE champion, new women's champion. You probably, if you want to have mainstays, you just have the tag team stay the same. You just let Miz and Morrison keep their titles, and you let the Street Profits have their moments. So you change the big titles, let the tag team titles, let the tag champs. I think that's best for business, too. If you think about it, all the big titles change. Maybe let Sami Zayn keep his, and then the other titles all change hands. U.S., the main titles, and things like that. This Mania is shaping up to be, if it ever goes down, it's shaping up to be a good pay-per-view.
Yeah, it looks like it should be. It should be a really grand show. Hopefully, we don't have one of those shows that goes until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right.
But it should be a good show. So Shayna Baszler eliminates everybody. She's going to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Like you were saying, WrestleMania looks to be headed in a great direction at this moment in time. Going to the predictions, you got 100% correct. You got 7 out of 7 right. I got 6 out of 7 right.
Oh, one behind, bro.
So you get the point. So it's 3-2. You lead in the predictions. You had kind of foreshadowed it. Does WrestleMania even take place? So the coronavirus is going around essentially everywhere right now. It is shutting down sporting events all across the world. If you're a fan of Serie A soccer, if you're a fan of Italian soccer, basically all of Italy is shut down. All of Serie A shut down until mid-April. You've got the San Jose Sharks playing hockey games in front of nobody. You've got the media being limited in locker rooms. WrestleMania is set to take place at an outdoor arena in Tampa, Florida. It might not even get off the ground because the coronavirus scare. Here in Michigan, we were diagnosed with our very first case late Tuesday evening, and it looks like 2 people actually have it. So it is starting to creep into basically our backyards, and it's essentially everywhere. So does the coronavirus shut down WrestleMania?
Absolutely not. There's no way. Vince would run that event. I don't know if you could do it. No, you know what he would do? He would, in order maybe to recoup some money, he would probably just say, look, for the betterment of the business and what we got to do, no fans, but you got to pay $50, you got to pay $20 or whatever. You got to pay more than the $10. We can't make it free anymore. It's just a situation where we're going to lose this huge gate. I just don't see it. I mean, is it going to be that bad? It's a lot of people, though. 80,000 people, Florida. I could see.
It's a whole weekend, too.
I could see where.
It's not just once. It's not like a one-day thing. It's basically it starts. I think it starts like Thursday night. So you're gonna have your Friday night SmackDown. You'll have your picture taking, and you'll have your guest booths on Saturday. Sunday's the main event, and then you've got your Monday Night Raw that takes place after it. So what is that? 4 days? It's a 4-day long weekend.
I would say that the only way it would get shut down at this point in time, it's
5 day. I'm sorry, 5 day.
Is if the government makes it so that we all got to stay in our house for a week. Sidebar real fast. Could you do that? Could you stay in your house for a week and just do nothing? I talked to my wife about it the other day, and I'm like, okay, a day or 2 staying in the house, no problem. 7 days, the whole country shuts down. Could you do it? Just sit at home, watch TV, have everything delivered for 7 days. I think 1 or 2 we could do. 7 days, could you do it?
7 days is a long time.
It's a long time. I don't think it's going to happen, but all this, and on the other podcast, we're going to talk about all the sports world shutting down. But I don't think I could do it.
I don't know if I could do 7 days. Look, I got enough stuff to do around the condo that
right. You could do it.
That I keep myself occupied.
Oh man.
But dude, I get stir crazy, and I need to go out and I need to do things, and that would be.
Vince is not doing it, bro. The money is there. It's a big, huge gate. It's the biggest gate of the year. How could they do it?
See, here's the thing. I don't think it's going to shut down WrestleMania, but I do think it's going to impact the weekend.
Yeah.
I think things will be limited. I think how many people are able to get into certain events is going to be limited, but I don't think it's necessarily going to shut down WrestleMania. If you've got your tickets for WrestleMania, I think you're still going. You might have to wait in some longer lines, and you might not be able to roam as free as you normally would just because of everything. And honestly, if you are an at-risk person, or if you have it, why the hell would you go out? Just stay home. Don't get everybody else sick. Don't be a dirty bastard. Just stay at home. You don't try to ruin everybody else's day just because you got a cold. I mean, essentially, the way I look at this. And like you said, if you want to hear more about our takes on the coronavirus, just tune into DocNJock this past week. But essentially, to me, it's the flu, right? It's the flu, and it's a new strain of the flu. I mean, we've lived through the bird flu, we've lived through the swine flu, we've lived through Ebola, we've lived through Y2K. We've made it through all these things. You'll make it through this. Just don't be a dick and don't go outside and get other people sick.
Exactly.
That's all you really got to do.
Yep.
So talking about WrestleMania. You've got 2 matches here with legends in them, right? And you've got AJ Styles versus The Undertaker, which we've already kind of highlighted. And I think we're both really engrossed in this, especially after AJ's promo this past week. You've got John Cena versus The Fiend. And rumors and speculation are that this might be John Cena's final WrestleMania, which I don't really ever buy that because you see The Undertaker's getting around at like 65 still. And John Cena's in fantastic shape. But Cena versus The Fiend, possibly Cena's very last WrestleMania. AJ versus The Undertaker. If you had to pick one of these matches, which one of these matches are you taking?
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles.
I think it's going to be a headlining match. I think that AJ Styles and The Undertaker are going to really do a great job. I mean, John Cena, the problem is he's a great entrance, a great personality. But can he put on 5-star matches at this point in time? And you realize it's just...
I think John Cena's had maybe like a 4.5-star match his entire career. His in-ring work is not fantastic.
He's more like a Hulk Hogan figure where he can create memories and things like that, but is he the top of the guy?
He's a personality, he's a promo, he's an entrance.
Exactly. So, he's got a limited moveset at this point in time, and with some time off, is there going to be ring rust? What kind of match is he going to have with Bray Wyatt? They've been in the ring together, I believe, before, so they can do some things, but AJ Styles Undertaker has the potential to transcend and to be, a match of the night candidate.
See, it's really weird to me, right? Because Undertaker's moving around that ring on some bad hips, and you've got AJ Styles who's going to have to carry that entire thing. While you've got John Cena and you've got The Fiend, who Cena's just out of his prime, and you've got The Fiend who is essentially in his prime. Now, the problem here with this match is John Cena has a very limited moveset, and The Fiend hasn't been able to put together a good match in, I don't know, his title reign. So it's not been fantastic. That was part of the reason they got the belt off of him. And they wanted to transition it over to Roman Reigns. So I don't think it's going to be a very good match. I love John Cena. I love him. I think he's fantastic. I will, if me and you are watching this together, I will get you up and I will give you an attitude adjustment all day. I love John Cena, and I think John Cena versus The Fiend is going to be a so-so, maybe average match. However, I think AJ Styles will be able to carry Undertaker and make this a spectacular match. So if I had to pick one that I had to watch, no matter how much I love John Cena, I'm going to go AJ Styles, Undertaker. What else did you take away from Raw this week? I know we were talking about Street Profits when we were show prepping, and I think it's pretty obvious to both of us they are getting a monster push, and well-deserved. I think they're a fantastic tag team.
The other aspect is Edge returned, and you got a chance to see Edge and Randy Orton. And the use of MVP, unfortunately, is a whooping bag now. First was Drew Gulak, now it was Edge. But for me, it was interesting in that I was paying attention. I'm like, how are they executing that chair shot? Because these bros are swinging that shit like it's a bat. So MVP is the foil. He's the guy that's coming out there and hysterically going, I want to sign Edge. I'm building a stable. And he's like, Edge is the guy. And I think he just needs my services to be focused. And then Edge returns and comes right to the ring, dismisses him, just kind of walks right back and starts cutting a promo on Randy Orton. And then MVP and Edge get into fisticuffs, and all of a sudden Randy Orton comes in to try and take an advantage, but Edge gets to have some offense in this one, and Randy Orton escapes, and so MVP kind of gets in the mix, and then he takes a whooping, and so Edge is just furious. He's intense. He's all business, and he destroys MVP. He does the chair moves twice, sets MVP's head on the chair, grabs 2 chairs, and just smacks it. So I'm like, how the hell did he do that? So you can tell now, okay, I'm going to ruin it here, but it's kind of cool in that the guy puts his head on the chair and it doesn't appear that any contact with the chair hits the head. What they do, if you listen, you hear a loud bang because it's chair on chair.
Chair and chair.
You smack the chair, and if you do it in slow motion, you can actually see it. You can swing as hard as you want and hit the chair and make a big, huge bang sound, and you never really get to contact. I'm like, dude, this is so good the way it looks, but I'm like, you can't bounce a chair off anyone's head safely. So you never make contact. You bang the chair. And it was cool to see in slow motion. And it was maybe a little bit too long where Randy's on the ramp and Edge is just staring at him and they're going back and forth. But they're building the hype around this match, and they've done it flawlessly. It was executed well. That was the highlight to me. The Street Profits, they're great. I just am not a fan of a match getting started, this kind of interference type thing, and then you have a 4-way. It's just, I don't like restarts. Damn near Seth Rollins had to wrestle like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need 40-minute matches. It's 2020, bro. Nobody has an attention span to want to watch wrestling the same people for 40 minutes. But the Street Profits are over. They have what it takes to kind of carry that belt. But I just didn't want to see that. And it's good to see that they're starting to elevate and incorporate new stars. But I just think that you could have had 2 matches there in the final hour. Otherwise, it was a great Monday Night Raw. I felt like WrestleMania is now starting to build. I like the interactions that we're seeing from the, mid-card talent, and things are getting now started to ramp up toward WrestleMania. And by and large, the wrestling shows have been good, and the builds are starting to take shape now, and it's going to be awesome in terms of Shayna Baszler and the Man. You got AJ Styles doing his thing. Like I said, the highlights, AJ Styles promo and Edge. Superstars, man. It was great.
What are you excited for with AEW this week? We've spent a lot of time talking WWE. Haven't really brought anything in from AEW.
Bro, it's a talk. Who's the client? Yeah. Who's Jake's client? How is the new guy that AEW definitely put out there? And sometimes in wrestling, you can hint at things, but in a direct way. If you paid attention to one of AEW's tweets, everybody saw it. It had, a bunch of paragraphs, but it's spelled with all the first letters, Matt Hardy. If you go on AEW's website, you can see the tweet. It's right there in bold, and everybody knows it. It's coming. You're not going to tweet that. You're not going to have the Young Bucks go to Matt Hardy if he's not signed and ready to go. So it's coming. Is it maybe going to be potentially Luke Harper? Who's Jake's client?
That's a great call. Luke Harper.
Yes.
And
it could be somebody else too.
Bro, you just hit the nail on the head. It's Luke Harper.
It should be.
It's Luke Harper. Because you remember a few weeks ago when Luke Harper got released, we said March 11th would be the day he could come in and wrestle. It's Luke Harper.
It could be, yes.
That is fantastic.
It could be other introduced wrestlers that people are talking about as well. So AEW's got this intrigue with how they're going to go forward. Obviously, everyone wants to know what's going to happen in the title picture with the champ, John Moxley. The Inner Circle always does great work. The tag team stuff is always good. So AEW's on point, man. They're rolling right along. And dude, AEW, you can't say really too much wrong with what's going on with that brand. No. Maybe, you could start the process now of bringing in some of the new characters and developing some new feuds. I just want to keep seeing the show, man. I think it's doing great. And actually, at the same time, I want to see how NXT responds because they're taking a whooping week after week in the ratings. And it's not looking good when, you have AEW consistently winning in the ratings and NXT kind of has fallen a little bit flat because of the fact that some of the angles now have ended and they're starting to rebrand and redo some of the angles. It's still a great wrestling show, but just not at the level of AEW. So they may have to. I think they should just probably pull that and just put it on a different night. Let people enjoy Wednesday for AEW and hell, make NXT Thursday.
Make it Tuesday.
Make it Tuesday. Get it back to Tuesday, or maybe a Saturday show. Yeah. Get everybody back to getting used to Saturday Night Wrestling. Who knows? But they're taking a whooping week after week.
I think
What excites you?
I think the biggest draw right now is when does Matt Hardy show up?
Yes.
Because at this point, like you said, it's inevitable. He's going to be on AEW. We're going to discuss Matt Hardy and his opinions on WWE and their creative coming up very, very shortly here. But it's when does Matt Hardy get introduced? How does he get introduced? How does AEW utilize him, and how does he utilize AEW? And I think when we jump into news and notes here, we'll have a better understanding of what he wanted to do in WWE and what he's going to probably do in AEW. You want some news and notes?
Hit me with this week's professional wrestling news and notes.
So sticking with the other Hardy brother, Jeff Hardy and Paige will both be on SmackDown tonight. Paige may be in action tonight against Bayley. She retired back in April of 2018 with a bad neck injury. So this is going to be interesting. There's some foreshadowing going on. I don't know if she's going to be a mouthpiece for somebody or if she's going to actually mix it up. Now remember, Edge retired 5 years ago, right? No, 9 years ago. And Edge has come back. So Daniel Bryan retired and then came back. Is Paige the next person to retire and come back? We'll have to tune into SmackDown to see. Now, Matt Hardy, been kind of basically promoting this the entire show. Matt Hardy opened up about his time with WWE and what went wrong when he told Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso that Vince McMahon didn't understand the concept of the broken universe. And he also told Mike Johnson of PWInsider.com that he had an idea to take lower card guys under his wing, but it never really got off the ground. Matt Hardy is quoted as saying, "My idea was like, I come out and say, I want to address these guys. I want to dialogue with you. And I was going to say they were going to say what do you want? Do you want your release? Do you want to get fired? Whatever. No, I want to say, I want to stay the show because I feel like you guys are going back on your word. Some with who," this is like the weirdest quote. They talk so weird sometimes. "Some with what you're telling the people. You're not listening to them. I just want 15 minutes. Give me 15 minutes of the show, and I want to make a segment called The Broken Block. I want to take guys like Ali, Apollo, Chad Gable, guys who are underutilized, use them, let them have badass matches, and then throw a little bit of Broken Matt in there, as well as actually gone away for a while and come back as Broken Matt. I had a whole storyline about how to do that and just different things like that. I didn't want to be the champion. I want to do things that I could do to help other guys and do a little role. I feel like too, a little variety would help the show so well and so much content. I mean, I was determined. If I didn't get my dialogue and I didn't get my creative concerns addressed, I was going to leave. I just determined that, and I was like, I worked to do it, and I have to talk about how great all the WWE people were, and they treated me great while I was there. Very professional, took care of me, and even dealing with everyone, with the Mark Carranos and the Triple H's and everybody else, they were great all the way out. It's like I didn't want to leave, but I had to leave that creative process. So basically, that odd, weirdly put together quote, Matt Hardy had an idea to essentially create a stable with lesser known talent and repackage them with his imaging. And I don't know about you, but that essentially sounds like the Dark Order in AEW to me.
No doubt about it. It's coming. It's coming. And I think, I don't know. The way I would ask you is this. Is AEW relying on too many older stars in their 40s? There's a lot. You're going to have Chris Jericho. You're going to have Luke Harper. You're going to now have potentially, you're seeing Jake the Snake Roberts. You're seeing Arn Anderson. You're seeing a lot of older dudes. There is enough young talent on AEW, but do you think that the bridge that they're trying to use, because obviously they're bringing on these older cats and putting them on TV because, dude, Jake Roberts cut the nastiest promo you're ever going to see. Fantastic. It was great. But at the same time, in terms of in-ring work, you got a lot of older veterans that are putting in some time and putting in some work in the ring in AEW. Too much?
But no, I don't think so, because I think it's a good mix between old and new. So you've got, like you said, you've got your Jake the Snakes who are out there cutting promos. You've got we're assuming Luke Harper coming in. You've got Matt Hardy. You do have older stars in this, Chris Jericho, but you also have younger guys. You got
like Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus puts on great matches. The guy is a physical freak. You've got MJF, who is the second coming of the heel. You know, you've got guys sprinkled throughout this entire show which do fantastic work. It's not just the older guys. I think the older guys are a draw because we know them. I think the younger guys, they're kind of getting a little bit of that rub, and we're getting brushed up on them. They're just not mainstays yet. Like MJF comes out, you're stopping what you're doing to watch. You know? And that's a young cat who's been put in a spot and has essentially been given the ball and he's run with it. Luchasaurus comes out, you might not stop everything you're doing, but you're gonna watch. You're gonna peek in because his matches are great, and he's so physically dominant. You've got other guys that do things on the show that draw your attention. They just don't have the credibility yet. They're not the mainstays yet, but I think in due time you'll get that. It sounds like WWE and Gronk are close to finalizing a deal for the former Super Bowl champion to jump into the squared circle. Are you interested in seeing the Gronk wrestle in WWE? And does he go by the Gronk?
No. I just, he's a big name. What kind of angle is he going to be participating in? Is he going to have a return match with Jinder Mahal? Is he going to turn on...
Where has Jinder been?
Exactly. Is he going to turn on, I forget his name, refresh my memory, the big football,
Mojo Rawley?
Yeah, is he going to turn on Mojo? I just don't see it. I don't know. I'm not hyped for that.
You're not hyped for it at all?
No, new talent that can wrestle. I want to see new talent, young talent that can wrestle. I'd rather see Drew Gulak. I'd rather see the young cats, do their thing. I'd rather see Lucha House Party. I'd rather see the young cats get their due. I don't need to see the Gronk. I mean, yeah, these guys like that. Obviously Brock Lesnar came in, but he had a wrestling background. Mm-hmm. So, look, you had Cain Velasquez. He had a 2 appearance stint, and it was so bad you don't see him anymore. Yeah, because why? Your ass has got to wrestle. You can't fake it in the WWE. So obviously, what he's got to be is a talking piece. He's got to be a valet. Now you could have MVP, you could have the Gronk, and you can have obviously Paige if she ever gets back into it in terms of managing. You could build up some nice stables with some managers, but in the ring consistently, oh hell no. Let's get out of here with that.
I like how we're referring to him as the Gronk. All right, man. Well, that's it for this week's wrestling news and notes.
Great podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in weekly every Friday to the Doc and Jock Wrestling Podcast. If you're a fan of wrestling, definitely tune in and download the Flick Chat application. What's Flick, you ask? Great place to create sports forums and have fun via your mobile device. What's that mean? All you got to do is download Flick, join Detroit Sports' newest headquarters, hitting that little plus button. You enter all lowercase DSP, and within seconds, you're in Detroit Sports' hottest chat headquarters, and you can talk professional wrestling, all Detroit Sports, via Flick Chat. Really fun. You're in control of the room. You can create your own topic if you agree or disagree with anything that you hear on your favorite podcast. Thank you guys so much. Follow Adam on Twitter at AdamRSTROZ. Follow the network at Detroit Podcast. Message us anytime. We love the banter. We love the engagement. We love talking professional wrestling every single week on the Doc and Jock Wrestling Podcast. Talk to you guys next Friday.